Namaskar. The topic of discussion in this lesson is on the land use in eastern India. India is a large and diverse country. Its geographical area includes some of the world's highest rainfall zone to the level of very dry deserts, coastline to alpine regions and river deltas to the tropical islands. Ranging from the rainforests of Kerala in the south to the alpine pastures of Ladakh hills in the north, from the dry deserts of Rajasthan in the west to the evergreen forests in the northeast, India has a very diverse range of landforms and land use species. Land is a valuable natural resource utilized for cultivation of crops, settlements of population, creation of dams and reservoirs, development of industries and maintaining the forests and the wildlife. Any kind of permanent or cyclic intervention of a land is called as a land use. It is the surface utilization of a vacant land or a developed land for a clear purpose at a given time. The utility value and the type of land use depend on the geographic location, physiographic condition, availability of water resources, fertility of the soil and the proximity of that land to other human activities. The land use distribution in India has been mapped by the National Atlas and Thematic Mapping Organization. For a better understanding, spatially the country is divided into several plates as maps. We shall try to learn them with reference to the following regions in these episodes: the land use of northern India, the land use of central India, the land use of western India, the land use of eastern India and the land use of southern India are the regional distribution patterns which we are going to study in this series of modules. The land use of eastern India are explained in this lesson. The northeastern region is deemed as the paradise unexplored. The northeast India is a region with very beautiful hills carpeted with greeneries. They are the favorite zones for holiday tourism. The area is renowned for the unique flora and fauna in this country. They have very wide lush green hills, turbulent waterfalls, aromatized tea gardens and stimulating fairs and festivals which are attracting people all over the world to come to the northeastern region. The land use practices of this region are unique. The aspects covered in this lesson are the general classification of land use, the land use of Patna plate, the land use of Kolkata plate and the land use of Shillong plate. These are the three sub-regions which are covered in this module. Let us see the first part, the general classification of land use. A large number of land use types and categories have been worked out by various researchers of different organizations and disciplines. The classification of land into its various uses and how these uses change over time will provide the background necessary for planning of these land resources in a country. In India, out of the total geographical area of 328.73 million hectares, the land use statistics are available for almost 93% of the total land areas. That is, roughly about 305 million hectares of land has been assessed for classifying the land use patterns. Land use is basically classified into the following major types: agricultural lands, forest lands, non-agricultural lands, grazing lands and unproductive lands are the categories. The agricultural land includes irrigated croplands, unirrigated croplands and plantation areas. Forests are the central areas to all human activities because they provide a diverse range of products and resources to human utilization. The forest areas are classified further into reserved forests, protected forests and unclassed forests. The term forest here means a reserved forest, protected forest, unclassed forest and village forests. They also include wasteland or the rangelands. Forest lands are notified by the government to develop, protect and conserve the forest resources and the wildlife. The recorded forest area is the geographic areas recorded as forests in the government records. Reserved forests are the forest areas constituted under the provisions of the Indian Forest Act or any other state forest acts having full degree of protection. In reserved forests, all activities are prohibited unless permitted. Protected forest is an area notified under the provisions of Indian Forest Act 1927 and other state forest acts. They have limited degree of protection. In protected forests, all activities are permitted unless prohibited. These include national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. The unclassed forest areas are lands that are not classed as reserved forests or protected forests, but they are with the government. The non-agricultural lands are classified into urban settlements, mining areas and rural settlements. The areas of unproductive lands are classified further into the following categories of land use: sandy zones, rocky zones, saline zones, badlands and snowy lands or snowfields. Based on these types of land use categories, the distribution patterns are analyzed with reference to different plates of regions in the Indian geographic condition. Let us see the land use of Patna plate. Patna is the capital of the Indian state of Bihar and the most populous city in Bihar. Patna is one of the oldest and continuously inhabited places in the world. Patna is located on the south bank of the river Ganga. The typical characteristic feature of the geography of Patna is the confluencing of four major rivers. The Ganges river is the largest. It is joined by four other rivers like Gagara, Gandak, Punpun and Son. Patna is unique in having four large rivers in its vicinity. The distribution of land use in Patna region is seen in this map. This area is bordered with the Nepal Himalayas in the north, Bhutan Himalayas in the northeast and Bangladesh in the east. Physiographically, this region comprises of the Great Gangetic Plains, the Sikkim Himalaya and also the Hazaribagh Plateaus. India's prominent places including Darbanka and Muzaffarpur in the north, Gangtok in the northeast, Modihari in the northwest, Patna, Munger and Bhagalpur in the middle, Coach Bihar in the east, Balia in the west, Gaya in the southwest, Dumka in the south are located in this region. This region is drained by the river Ganges and its tributaries at the central portions and by Teesta river in the Sikkim region. If we look at the prevailing land use patterns of this region, we could see the distribution of agricultural lands, forests, non-agricultural lands, grazing lands and unproductive lands. The agricultural land includes irrigated croplands, unirrigated croplands and plantation areas. The irrigated croplands are distributed in the northwestern part of Modihari and also in the central part west of Patna, and in some places in the form of isolated pockets in the southern flank of Ganges are also found here. The unirrigated croplands are distributed in the northern parts around the river Ganges and also all along its floodplains. It is a very vast zone. The major crops grown in the unirrigated zones are wheat, maize, kesari, pulses, rice and jute. The minor crops grown in the unirrigated zones are pulses, fruits, sugarcane, mazur, mista, rapeseeds, mustard and millets. Patna has long been a major agricultural center of trade, its most active exports being grains, sugarcane, sesame and medium grained Patna rice. There are multiple sugar mills still in existence in and around Patna. The plantation areas are distributed in the northeastern region south of Gangtok. The crops planted in the plantation areas are tea and fruits. The forest areas of this region include reserved, protected and unclassed forests. The reserved forests are seen around Darjeeling and border areas near Bhutan. The protected forests are seen in places in Sikkim Himalaya, Hazaribagh Plateau in the southern regions. Unclassed forests are seen around Gangtok region. The non-agricultural lands of this region in India includes both urban settlements and rural settlements. The major urban areas of this region are Patna, Gaya, Saharsa, Purnia, Bhagalpur, Coach Bihar, Darbhanga, Mongir, Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri. This region also contains a few patches of grazing land covered by grass and scrubs. The grasslands are confined to the southern flanks of Nepal Tarai region. This region is also characterized by less amount of unproductive lands. Let us see the land use of Kolkata plate. The distribution of land use in Ranchi, Kolkata, Bhubaneswar region is seen in this map. This area is bordered by the Bay of Bengal in the southeast. Physiographically, this region comprises of the deltaic regions of Ganga, Subarnarega, Brahmani and Mahanadi rivers, and also the Nagpur Plateau, Ranchi Plateau, Kolhan Upland, Simplipal Massif, Bamra Hills and Bengal Basin. Sundargarh in the west, Pulbani in the southwest, Bhubaneswar and Cuttack in the south are located in this region. This region is drained by Damodar, Subarnarega, Brahmani and Mahanadi rivers. If we look at the prevailing land use patterns of this region, we could see the distribution of agricultural lands, forests, non-agricultural lands, grazing lands and unproductive lands. The agricultural land includes irrigated croplands, unirrigated croplands and plantation areas. The irrigated croplands are distributed in the northern parts around Bardhaman, in the eastern parts around Kharagpur and in the southern part around Mahanadi deltaic regions. The major crops grown in the irrigated zones are sugarcane, wheat, fruits and vegetables. The minor crops grown in the irrigated zones are rapeseeds, mustards, linseeds and pulses. The unirrigated croplands are distributed in a vast region. The major crops grown in the unirrigated zones are rice, millet, maize, pulses, gram and jute. The minor crops grown in the unirrigated zones are vegetables, chili, groundnut, kesari, coconut and fruits. The distinctive feature of this region in India is the rural settlement all along the fertile zones. The forest areas of this region include reserved, protected and unclassed forests. The reserved forests are seen around Bamra Hills, Simlipal Massif and also in Saranda Hills. Unclassed forests are seen around Damodar Plains, around Jamshedpur, Kionjar and Sundargarh areas. The non-agricultural lands of this region in India includes both urban settlements and rural settlements. The major urban areas of this region are Kolkata, Kharagpur, Jamshedpur, Asansol, Ranchi, Cuttack, Bhubaneswar and Bardhaman. This region also contains less amount of grazing lands covered by grass and scrubs. Let us see the fourth part, the land use of Shillong Plate. The distribution of land use in Guwahati, Shillong, Imphal, Dibrugarh region is seen in this map. This area is bordered with Myanmar in the east, China and Tibet in the north and Bangladesh in the southwest. Physiographically, this region comprises of the eastern Himalayas, the Brahmaputra valley and the Bay of Bengal. India's prominent places including Dibrugarh and Hanagar in the north, Bomdila and Tezpur in the northwest, Shillong, Dispur, Kohima and Guwahati in the middle, Imphal in the east, Dhuburi in the west and Agartala, Aizawl in the south are located in this region. This region is drained by the Brahmaputra river. If we look at the prevailing land use patterns of this region, we could see the distribution of agricultural lands, forest lands, non-agricultural lands, grazing lands and unproductive lands. The agricultural land includes irrigated croplands, unirrigated croplands and plantation areas. The irrigated croplands are distributed in a very scattered form in this particular zone. The unirrigated croplands are distributed all along the Brahmaputra river floodplain areas and also in the form of isolated pockets around Imphal and Silchar regions. The major crops grown in the unirrigated zones are rice, jute and maize. The minor crops grown in the unirrigated zones are fruits, rapeseed, mustard, pulses, vegetables, potato, jute and millets. The plantation areas are distributed along the foothills. They are distributed along the foothills of many mountains and Himalayas. The crops planted in the plantation areas are tea and fruits. The forest areas of this region include reserved, protected and unclassed forests. Protected forests are seen in some places. Reserved forests are seen around the mountainous regions starting from Agartala, spread over Diffu and Kela areas. Unclassed forests are seen all around these regions. It is a very vast zone covering almost 1/4 of this plate. The non-agricultural lands of this region in India includes both urban settlements and rural settlements. The major urban areas of this region are Dispur, Shillong, Agartala, Aizawl, Imphal, Kohima, Silchar, Tezpur, Itanagar, Kela, Dibrugarh, Jorhat and Guwahati. This region also contains a small portion of grazing land covered by grass and scrubs. The grasslands are confined to the area south of Shillong. This region is also characterized by small portions of unproductive land consisting of rocky zones distributed as the eastern Himalayan mountains in the northern parts of this plate. The economic value of a region depends on the properties of land use. Land use is also an emerging socio-economic activity wherein a region of one major specific purpose will be converted into another purpose for human utilization. Population explosion, demand for increased production of commodities, establishment of varieties of infrastructural facilities like road networks, airports, layouts, flyovers, bridges and canals, and such other activities force the people to convert one land use to another land use, but it is improper to handle these valuable land resources for different activities. Land use planning is an important subject to be studied. Land use planning is a separate branch of study in geography, geology, town planning, agriculture, forestry, civil and environmental engineering, and also in development studies. People should properly utilize the land resources available in a country. Proper land use practices will help us to survive. Proper land use practices are to be adopted for a better survival in the future.